Well, well, well. Looks like Donald Trump just found out the hard way that Canada ain't for sale, and he learned it right there in the Oval Office from Prime Minister Mark Carney himself, who shut him down with the kind of calm, no-nonsense clapback you only get from a man who once ran the Bank of England. And let me tell you, Trump did not take it well. But hey, when you've spent your whole life conning people into buying overpriced real estate and spray-tan patriotism, I guess it's a little jarring when somebody just looks you square in the eye and says, "Not for sale, partner."
When you get rid of that artificially drawn line, somebody drew that line many years ago with like a ruler, just a straight line right across the top of the country. When you look at that beautiful formation when it's together, I'm a very artistic person, but when I looked at that beauty, I said that's the way it was meant to be. But, you know, I do feel it's much better for Canada. But we're not going to be discussing that unless somebody wants to discuss it. I think that there are tremendous benefits to the Canadian citizens, tremendously lower taxes, free military, which honestly we give you essentially anyway because we're protecting Canada if you ever had a problem. But I think it would really be a wonderful marriage because it's two places that get along very well. They like each other a lot.
Well, if I may. As you know from real estate, there are some places that are never for sale.
That's true.
We're sitting in one right now, Buckingham Palace that you visited as well.
That's true.
And having met with the owners of Canada over the course of the campaign last several months, it's not for sale, won't be for sale ever.
Now, Trump tried to act like it was no big deal, tried to shrug it off with his usual nonsense about how he could buy and sell anybody if he wanted to. He even called it a wonderful marriage idea, like he was proposing to stick a big old "one for sale" sign right on top of Toronto's CN Tower. And buddy, if that wasn't the diplomatic version of "bless your heart," I don't know what is. But here's the thing, Trump's meltdown didn't start there. Oh no, this was just the cherry on top of a long drawn-out spiral. You could see the cracks starting to show the moment he shuffled into that press conference like he'd just been told his golf course got repossessed. He started rambling about Obama's library of all things, couldn't even focus long enough to realize the man next to him was the Prime Minister of Canada, not the foreman on his latest bankruptcy project.
President Obama, and if he wanted help, I'd give him help because I'm a really good builder and I build on time, on budget. He's building his library in Chicago. It's a disaster. And he said something to the effect, I only want DEI, I only want woke. He wants woke people to build it. Well, he got woke people, and they have massive cost overruns. A job is stopped. I don't know. It's a disaster. And I don't like that happening because I think it's bad for the presidency that a thing like that should happen. He's got a library that's a disaster. And he wanted to be very politically correct, and he didn't use good, hard, tough, mean construction workers that I love, Marco. I love those construction workers. But he didn't want construction workers. He wanted people that, never did it before, and he's got a disaster in his hands. Millions of dollars, really many millions of dollars over budget. And I would love to help him with it, or somebody else. I could recommend professionals. But it was not built in a professional manner.
Trump just kept going on about construction and DEI hires, mumbling about woke workers like he's got a clue what it takes to build anything that doesn't have his name in gaudy gold letters plastered across the front. Newsflash, Donald. Obama's library is doing just fine. You, not so much. And right when you thought it couldn't get any sadder, Trump started babbling about trade deals.
We want to make our own cars. We don't really want cars from Canada. And we put tariffs on cars from Canada, and at a certain point, it won't make economic sense for Canada to build those cars. And we don't want steel from Canada because we're making our own steel, and we're having massive steel plants being built right now as we speak. We really don't want Canadian steel, and we don't want Canadian aluminum and various other things because we want to be able to do it ourselves. And we, because of, past thinking of people, we have a tremendous deficit with Canada. In other words, they have a surplus with us. And there's no reason for us to be subsidizing Canada. Canada's a place that will have to be able to take care of itself economically.
I mean, the cognitive dissonance here is Olympic level. If bullshitting was a sport, Donald Trump would be taking home the gold every damn year. Now, Carney, to his credit, just sat there with that look you give your neighbor when they start explaining how they're going to turn their backyard into a duck farm. Polite, patient, but you know damn well he ain't buying any of it. And when Trump floated the idea of Canada becoming the 51st state like he was talking about buying a used Cadillac, Carney finally shut him up for good. It's not for sale. It won't be for sale. Ever. Clean, simple, and with a smile. I bet Trump ain't heard a know that firm since Tiffany stopped picking up his calls. And that's when it happened. Trump, red as a ketchup bottle, actually said, "Never say never," like Canada's just waiting for him to come in and slap a MAGA sticker on the flag. Man, you can't make this stuff up. Mark Carney shut him down so cleanly, it should be in a museum.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, if I may. If respectfully, Canadians' view on this is not going to change on the 51st state. Secondly, we are the largest client of the United States in the totality of all the goods. So we are the largest client of the United States. We have a tremendous auto sector between the two of us, and the changes that made have been helpful. 50% of a car that comes from Canada is American. That's not like anywhere else in the world. And to your question about is there one thing? No, this is a bigger discussion. There are much bigger forces involved, and this will take some time and some discussions, and that's why we're here, to have those discussions, and that is represented by who's sitting around.
Trump's face looked like he'd just been told the McRib was gone for good. And to think, this is the guy who swore up and down he'd have us swimming in trade deals. Instead, all he's got is one hell of a rejection letter from the entire country of Canada. Now, folks, if that ain't the most beautiful display of international diplomacy since Macron dusted him off like dandruff, I don't know what is. Canada ain't for sale, and Trump's art of the deal just took another wallop to the chin. But hey, maybe next time he'll try Greenland again. I hear the ice is melting faster than his approval ratings. Well, that's about enough international diplomacy for one day. If you liked watching Trump get served a big old slice of humble pie, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And if you didn't, well, bless your heart. I'll be here in the hot tub waiting for the next meltdown. See y'all next time.